Greetings and salutations, Life and Poetry fam. Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful, gloomy day outside, but I thought, what the heck, let's get some content out. I'm gonna keep it pushing. I'm gonna do the best I can to stay consistent with this dialogue when it comes to writing. But before we jump into this video, if you have not already done so, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel here, guys. I'm trying to grow the family. We are at 30 subscribers or family members at this point. Let's keep it going. Like I said in the video before this, I don't see 30 subs. I see 30 million. My goal is to get this out there, for those who need it, those who are interested in it, or those who just want to say, hey, I want to be a part of something. But yeah, guys, so for this video here, we're gonna jump right into it because I got some other stuff I want to get done today. Some other planning that's coming for this channel very soon, guys, very soon. As you can see now, some changes have already been made, such as the intro has changed, or the logo in the beginning has changed. So I'm learning as I go along, but so far so good. It's coming along at a good pace, you know. But yeah, so now I got all that out the way. Let's jump into what I have for today, guys. And if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my laptop because I have it written down, the structure of how I want to get it done. That way I don't miss anything. I try my best to get my thoughts out of my head, onto paper, that way I can actually see it instead of trying to think of it on the fly. I can do that, but right now I prefer it this way so that I can get it out to you as clear and concise as possible. But yeah, so let's go. Today I want to talk about something important. As you know, I am a poet. I love poetry. I love every aspect of it. And my goal is to eventually be in a place where I can teach or train or mold poets, young, old, or however you want to, whatever bracket you think you fall into. I want to be a person that says, look, I can help you or guide you or give you some insight on how to navigate through these things here. So with that being said, let's jump into it, all right? So I want to talk to you about 3 elements of poetry today. All right, only 3. We're gonna keep it simple today. It's a lot to it, but I tried to compress it as much as possible, and I pray that it's not too much to take in. If it is, forgive me for it. But I think that these elements are a key component to construct or structure your poetry to an elevation or to a place of I don't want to say to be or to be a better poet or to write better poetry, because you may already think that your poetry is at that point of greatness, and I applaud you if you're at that point. But for those of us who are not there, or those of you who are not there, myself included, I always want to grow as a writer, as a poet. I want to always expand on my insight and my fortitude in my writing. But yeah, so 3 elements of poetry, right? And to jump off the back, the 3, I'm gonna list them out, right? And as I list them out, I'm gonna go back, and after I finish listing them, since it's only 3, it shouldn't take as much time. But once we get through the basis part, I'm gonna try to explain or expound on it as much as possible as we dive into this video here, guys, right? So I'm rambling, I know, forgive me. We're not editing it out, remember? Uncut, unraw, unfiltered. Let's jump into it, right? So the 3 elements of poetry are sound, meaning, and structure, right? So let's talk about sound. We know sound is verbal, what you hear, and we know that words have sound. When you open your mouth, you speak, what comes out, you guessed it, sound. Not to sound sarcastic, but it's just that simple. The word has sound, right? How your reader hears your words and how it comes off. Whether it's the way you rhyme your words, or the way you use your words to depict alliteration, or even how you use your words to say, look, these words describe something that you can see, you know, and sound is a very, 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 very important tool for a poet. Um, for the simple fact that as you're reading a piece of work, or as you're writing, or your readers are engaging into your work, you want them to be able to hear the emotion behind the word. You want them to be able to feel something with it. And a lot of times if we can be in a place where, like, okay, wait, we hear the enthusiasm in the word. We can look at how the author wants it to come across. So if a word has if the word has an exclamation point behind it, we know that it's an excitement behind that word. You know, you can hear the excitement in the author's tone as he's writing, or in the voice in which he's trying to portray in that work, guys. And it really is just that simple. Sound. Words have sound. Rhyme and alliteration are some examples of the sound element of writing. Again, these are going to be they're compressed. They're not compartmentalized, but they are compressed to a simple point. I'm a person who believes that if you give me information, give it to me on the level of a second grader, right? I am highly intellectual. I'm educated. I'm very educated, but I like things to be a simple, cutthroat, and straight to the point, nice and direct, you know. And we can get to that point of saying, look, don't beat around it. If you want to teach me something, give it to me and let me dive into it, right? So that's element number one, sound. Moving on to meaning, right? Now, we know, right? We've been to school. We know that words have meanings behind it, right? We know that every word in your vocabulary has a meaning some way, some shape, fashion and or form behind it, right? And those meanings can be literal meanings, basically what that word actually means, right? Literally means that, right? And we call that a denotation, right? The literal aspect of that word, you know. And then we can go into the connotation of the word, right? And the connotative words, they may say one thing, but they make you think about something completely different, right? So you're sitting there and you're thinking, right, okay, I want my reader to get to this place, right? But I want to use this word here, but I want to direct him somewhere completely different than what this word actually means, right? It seems simple. It's probably easier said in my head than getting it out. But guys, stick with it. If you need to go back to look it up, feel free to do so and find examples of them. I was going to do examples in this video here, but I'm going to wait till another video after this to do examples of each layer of these elements here. And hopefully we can dive into more elements of poetry, because don't think that just because you get these three here that this is the basis of it all. No, there's many aspects and layers to writing, especially poetry, because you can convey a wide array of things in poetry, right? So even with those connotative words, you can you have the imagery base, right? When you get the general depiction of something, and it can be used for a sensory experience, or some things more specific like similes or metaphors. You know, those things are drawing comparisons to something, or irony or ambiguity, right? Now, the irony of something could be this, for example. I'm trying to get you a good one here. I heard one earlier today. I don't want to use it, but I'm going to use it because this one is coming to my mind. I'm surrounded by a large lake of water without a drop of water to drink, right? The irony of it all is I'm in this big puddle of water, whatever I'm in, but I'm thirsty. I can't drink it all. It's there, but I ain't got nothing to drink, right? It's irony. I'm in it, but I can't use it to help benefit me in any way, shape, fashion, form, right? So that's basically me. Again, we're keeping it tight. I don't want to go too deep with this one here because that's what the next video will be for. It won't drop today, but it will drop sometime soon. Guys, just bear with me here. I'm sorry, cars are driving by. I'm at the window. I don't like the stuff is moving. I'm sorry. Right, so that's when you have sound, what words actually sound like, meaning, what words actually mean, right? In both aspects, denotations and connotations, right? And on from that, we have structure, right? basically the shape of the page. Whether you are writing haiku poems, um, stanza-based poems, which are more traditional, which most poets or even most writers, when you start out, most writers prefer the stanza-based poetry because it's easier to format. You can see it in places, block format and stanza style. Um, yeah, structure also can be line length. You want 4 words on the line. In each stanza, you want 7 words. A certain amount a certain amount of words on that line, right? I'm trying to think of the word. It's really slipping my tongue right now. But if you guys can guess it, kudos to you. If I can get it in time, I'll put it in the description below, or I'll be sure to put it in the video when we go into depth about these things here. Syllables, right? How many syllables you want in a certain line, such as in a haiku poem. A haiku poem is based off a certain amount of syllables, and that's the structure of that poem. And even the typography of your work. A lot of times we can use structure in certain illustrations. So, for example, we could be saying something like our poem could be on a house. It could be based on a house. The backbone of this poem is a house, and the poem would be written or depicted in the shape of a house. I've personally have tried doing poems like that. I don't like them. I'm not an illustrative person. I don't like to try to draw things out. I prefer to put my piece in format, such as block format, or however I see fit, whether it be left alignment, center line, or sporadic on the page. But I don't do shapes of things. I'm sure I probably can if I tried, but it's not my style. It's not my cup of tea. But yeah, so structure, shape on page, stanza style, line length, and typography. Also, in the second video, I'm going to do definitions of certain words. I know that some of these words may elude your mind right now, as it did mine too, as I was researching these things here. But I also went back to look at the definitions. I have them written down for the next video for when we dive deeper into and we can actually break down a poem or two. Most likely one of mine we will break down. I don't want to break down anybody else's work because I can only imagine their voices. I can't say yay or nay what they truly mean behind those words, only what I can interpret them to be. So, but we may break down something eventually of somebody else's. I don't know. We might get into that there, right? But even in writing those things, the structure, you think about the overlay, like I said, when you think about overlay, you begin to learn or see that certain parts of the structure or these elements, these 3 here, can overlay in itself, such as sound can overlay with meaning. With, for example, using the onomatopoeia type breakdown, where you have sounds that describe things that that they sound, that have words describe things that they sound like, or something like that. I believe so. Again, if this is wrong, I will go back and I will make sure those I will correct it in the next video. But to the best of my knowledge, that we'll break it down like that. If I'm wrong, forgive me. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to get through this with you guys, hopefully. So, yes, sound can overlap with meaning, right? But it sounds like something, but means something totally different, right? But it'll still come together and make perfect harmony, perfect sense, right? And then sound and structure, right? Remember, structure can go back to typography or all these other things, but we also can dive into the structure of your rhyme scheme, right? If you choose to do the traditional rhyme-based type poetry, that's considered to be a structure-based thing. Your poem is structured with a rhyme scheme, whether it be ABA, BB, CC, anything, right? It doesn't have to be letters. You can be 1 1 2 2 if you choose to do that. I pretty much used to do the ABA thing, but you can label it as you see fit. 1 fish, 2 fish, 2 fish, red, blue, however you choose to do so. But yeah, all that can play into structure and that rhyme and that rhythm of it all. And remember, with rhyme and rhythm can go hand in hand as well. Just like a song, you tend to hear a lot of songs where certain words will rhyme to take you into different aspects of things, and they will lay on top of each other. So it'll pull you right into the next piece or so. I'm not a singer, so I can't dive into that too much, but I believe that you can get the aspect of it all here. And another overlay can be structure and meaning. As I said, the house poem is shaped like a house. You know, it's structured as that house, and it's pretty much the meaning of the poem. The poem is meant to be about the house, and the house is shape of the poem, right? And you have those concrete poems or shape poetry. Shape poetry is the depiction of the thing you're actually talking about. But yeah, guys, there is a lot of different elements and aspects to writing poetry. I know I breezed through these pretty fast here. And forgive me if it was too fast. I can always go back if you need be so. Excuse me. Little parts there, excuse me. But I can always go back in the next video to dive deeper into these things as well as I set out I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep looking up things here. As a writer, as I said, I always want to learn. I don't want to stay stagnant in a certain lane. I always want to elevate myself and my work to a different platform, so that not only myself can get the understanding of it, but those who I choose to train in the future, or those who choose to come to me for help with finding out their lane in poetry. But yeah, guys, there is a lot. And just to give you a taste on what the next video will be about, I want to give you a list of imagery devices. And these devices basically create the image in your reader's mind of what you're trying to depict or trying to convey to your audience. Sorry guys, my voice seems to be going out a little bit. I feel like I'm going hoarse. I don't know why, but we're gonna push through it, guys. I'm not gonna claim it. It's gonna be what's gonna be. I'm just gonna keep drinking water and make me some chamomile tea in a minute after this video. And I'm gonna keep pushing through my day-to-day operations for today, right? But imagery devices, right? I'm gonna list them out. I'm not gonna describe what they are just yet. Second video, right? We're gonna push into that another day. Like I said, I wanna keep getting information so I can make sure that I'm giving it to you guys correctly, right? So a few devices. Sorry again. I believe it's 10 or so, but we have some devices such as simile, which is the comparison of two things using the words like or as. We have metaphors, which is a comparison of two unlike things without using the words like or as, right? And then we have personification, which is a type of metaphor in which non-human things or ideas possess human qualities or actions, right, guys? So those are the three bases that I use. So that's why I chose to define them with you. In most of our work, I use those three heavily, and it gets across. It comes across pretty fairly in my work. I really don't know why. I can't dive into it just now. I'm looking back into some of my work and figure out when did that start. But it just seemed like it always came naturally to me. I always used the imagination of words, and even in the point of creating my own words that you won't find in any dictionary on this planet. But it seemed to fit. So you know, when you write and stuff, you got creative control, especially in poetry. You have creative control over what you choose to do and put out there for your readers to read, right? So for the other few, we have alliteration. Again, I'm gonna define the rest in the next video as we go into depth. So we have alliteration, we have assonance, onomatopoeia, right? And we're gonna jump into rhyme. Now rhyme has a few different elements of it all, right? So you have true rhyme, you have internal rhyme, You have near and half rhyme. And you have I rhyme, right? It seems like it to be a lot, but guys, trust me, when we dive into it, you're gonna be like, oh wow, I can see it now. I've been using that. I didn't know what it was, but next video, you're gonna find out, right? You're gonna find out, right? So, and you also have a couple miscellaneous devices. They come up fairly, not too often. A lot of times we don't particularly purposefully use them, but they come up and be like, you know what? Look, it makes sense. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be, right? So those are hyperboles, irony, and paradox. Hyperbole, irony, and paradox, miscellaneous devices. Again, we are going to dive into all of that there, as well as some other things in regards to poetry. As you know, your boy the poet, Marcus T, this guy, right? So guys, also, before I conclude or close out or end this video, I want to give a tip to writers who want to understand poetry a little more. There's this book called You Poet, and it says, learn the art, speak your truth, and share your voice. And this book, really, I've been diving into it lately. You Poetry. I don't know if it's gonna be backwards on the camera or whatever when I post it, but You Poetry. You Poetry. It's a good read. I've got halfway through the book, and it's really unraveling a lot of things that I didn't know about poetry. And I've been writing for some time, but as I said, I always want to continue to grow, and I want to continue to learn this art form, because it is an amazing thing to do. It's an amazing thing to say I can use these words and I can make them make sense. I can make you feel good about yourself. I can take you to this place that you didn't think you could get to through my poetry. I can depict the world on a pen top if I choose to do so, with just a simple construction of words. But yeah, guys, elements of poetry. Yes, guys. So, ending this video, guys, I hope you got something from this. Again, I know that it was pretty much rambled on. I know I went through it pretty fast. But if you did get something from this, guys, hold on to these nuggets here. And if you are a writer, if you want to in your free time, look these things up and start free writing, start implementing some of these things, and to just trying to figure out where you are as a writer or as a poet, specifically a poet or a creative writer. Right, I tend to lean more to the poetry side, but I believe this also can help you out as a creative writer. But yeah, guys, so if you have not already done so, again, like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, Life in Poetry, with your host, Marcus T, this guy. Be blessed. Till next time, peace.